It might not have felt like the brightest of starts for Norwich's rail commuters. Not only was it back to work day for most, but also the first day they've had to dig that little bit deeper for their rail tickets. Nationwide, prices have gone up. And to mark the occasion, nationwide protests at stations. And Norwich was no different.
For many people on low incomes, the railway is off limits. I mean, they cannot use the railway, they cannot afford the season tickets, they cannot afford to travel. So it's about time we started looking at the railways again as a public service.
The Rail Delivery Group, who represent rail operating companies and Network Rail, are saying today that money from fares is helping to sustain investment in the longer, newer trains and more punctual journeys that passengers want. But the policy of re-nationalising the railways is being championed by both the Greens and by Labour.
When we stop and talk to them a bit more about how Abellio is already a nationalised company, but a nationalised company for Holland, and there's a £22 million in profit, in retained profit, in the last accounts. And we said, OK, how could that be better spent? Well, they had some really strong opinions because they're paying higher fares, and do they really need to?
Nationally, the average increase is 2.3%. But across our train operator, Greater Anglia, it's slightly lower at 1.8%, with some prices staying the same. The cost of a Norwich to London annual ticket goes from £7,740 to £7,884, an increase of £144. If you do an annual ticket from Norwich to Cambridge, it's an increase of £80. Or if you travel a bit more locally, monthly tickets from Cromer or Yarmouth into the city will set you back about an extra £3 a month.
The cost of living and other expenses, I think it would eat into your wages too much, so I think they do need to address the cost of it.
If you used to pre-book tickets, it used to be cheaper, but it just seems to be quite expensive 99% of the time now.
The price they pay, I think, is really horrific compared with the service that they get.
It does mean some people are seeking alternatives. Liftshare.com in Norwich help match up drivers and passengers all over the country to help them spread the cost of their travel. And this time of year is always one of their busiest.
Right now we have about 100,000 people sharing every day. And we typically have about 500 going on and having a new, joining up in a day. And we can see that surge, particularly around train press times, by anything between 25 to 50%, which is a big increase just for a certain segment of the population.
So whether re-nationalising the railways would work is always up for debate. But for these passengers, the thing that definitely is on the up is the price of some of these seats. Neil Perry, Mustard TV, Norwich.